Hello everyone, I'm Marina and it's Sakramel School. And finally, here is a full video guide on stamping. Despite all the simplicity of this design, just stamp pictures and that's it. Nail techs seem to have lots of questions. What materials are used, how to do it correctly, how to fix it, and so on. You will learn everything from this video stamping from A to Z. Watch the video till the end and you will definitely succeed in it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. I'm ready for the practical part. I've already put everything in its place, organized my workspace so as not to look for something for a long time, so everything is right here for me. Stamping is a dirty business, one might say, so be sure to use gloves in order to protect your skin from acetone-containing liquid. To protect the table, I will use a special silicone mat. We need the mat not only to protect the table, but also to prevent the plates from slipping. It's easy to remove paint leftovers from it, so it's a very convenient tool that I like to use and I also recommend it to you. It's convenient to test the color density on the mat to see how gel polish will look on black or white base. What we need in addition to this is a dehydrator, acetone, that is a nail polish remover, gel polish or biogel, the liquid in which acetone is in the first place in order to remove the excess and gel leftovers, to clean everything so it's all beautiful. The next are lint-free napkins, actual lint-free ones, because there will remain some hairs on the plates which will then stick to the stamp and you will just waste your time on them. And these cotton pads or cotton balls, because they will remove the paint from the plates much better and they are more economical. In order to remove the paint leftovers from the stamp, we need either Scotch tape or this kind of tape for cleaning clothes. And now, the most important thing that we need for the design is paints or gel polishes for stamping. There are two options. Using a special gel paint. Gel paint is thick, dense, it's convenient because there is time to think about how to arrange the design. You can do everything not so quickly. The curing speed in the lamp is 30 to 60 seconds. Can any other gel paint be used for this? Yes, but only if it is of such a pasty consistency and very dense. Gel paint is suitable for using nail powder or foil, but the lines painted with it are not as thin as with other paints, so I prefer them in my work. These are special polishes which contain acrylic paint, and due to this, you can get a dense pigment. Stamping may be done with regular nail polishes as well, but often they do not give such density and the pattern turns out translucent. So I did not experiment with them and bought the ones that are dense, the paints especially for stamping. Here are the brands that I tested and can highly recommend to you, the ones that print well. These are Dance Legend, On IQ, Swanky Stamping, Leah Nail, Leslie, Born Pretty, and Gratool paints. All these paints are very dense. They are printed very well and you're not supposed to have any problems while working with them. It happens that while using, the paint can thicken and dry quickly, and it is poorly stamped. Then, in this case, you can add a special liquid for polish diluting or some acetone into it. So what color should you buy if you're just a beginner who just wants to start getting into stamping? These are of course classics: white, black, gold and silver. These are the colors I recommend buying lots of straight away. Other colors you can choose yourself. When compiling my set, I chose neon shades because they are very bright and look gorgeous in this design. Some pastel colors, and of course classic red, blue, green, yellow, so some primary colors which are needed for stamping. but you can actually do without them using only black and white. To protect the skin around the nail from the paint and acetone, you can use a special product called Skin Defender. Protecting the skin. Well, it's kind of a glue that covers the skin, and then you just remove it and the skin remains clean. The next important item in stamping, which you can't do without, is a stamp, of course. I've got some from On IQ, Leslie, several types of Born Pretty. This brand is sold on AliExpress. There are some cheap Chinese options as well. And now we will take a closer look at each of them, which one you should choose, which stamp will work, and which will not. All the stamps that I've shown are silicone and transparent. I don't use rubber stamps because they are very rough. For example, a stamp from On IQ is double-sided. It's very soft, elastic, and sticky. Look how my finger bounces. And inside, there is a different kind of silicone. It is softer, more elastic, and it can stretch. This stamp is used in order to decrease or increase the pattern. We can say that it's a stamp for the techs who are more experienced in stamping. It is convenient that there is no bottom in this stamp, so the pad will spring well and will not pop out. When there is a bottom, inside forms an air pocket and the pad can pop out. The pads are reusable and you can buy them separately, so you don't have to buy another stamp. The body gets dirty quickly, and when we wipe it with acetone to remove the paint, it ruins it. This is of course a minus and the flaw of these stamps. The next one is from Leslie brand, and it differs in its shape. It doesn't have a rounded spherical part, it's a flat one. The stamp is very sticky. It picks up all the fine lines well, it's very elastic, you can even print fragments under the cuticle with it. You can remove the bottom so that again the pad doesn't fall out. The next stamp is from Born Pretty. I bought this stamp on AliExpress. It has a spherical shape, very sticky, top quality. But it has a shorter holder, and here every nail tech chooses which one is more convenient to hold for them. Of course, we give preference to larger diameters, so we could comfortably print even the biggest images. Here is a similar stamp, a Chinese analog, without a bottom, but the pad is much stiffer and not so sticky. So as a result, it will print the pattern worse. Such a stamp can be used when working with gel paint. Since we need a more elastic stamp, with gel polishes we give preference to soft stamps. This one is also from Born Pretty, but it's not sticky at all, and it is very stiff. So it won't print the pattern that good. In such cases, the stamp can be prepared, take a buffer, and very carefully polish the surface, making it matte. This way, the gloss gets removed and the stamp becomes stickier. I have such an old stamp from Born Pretty. The students at school made it matte, and I use it only for some pigments and nail powders. So as you can see, the pigment has already penetrated into its porous surface and it got darkened and changed its color. And one more type, on a long stick but a small one. It's not very sticky but very stiff. I use it for smaller objects. So, we still give our preference to the largest, softest, and stickiest stamps, since they will grab the paint from the plate best of all and stamp it onto the nails. We got to the most exciting part, the stamping plates. I keep mine in such a pencil case so that I can access them immediately. You can see that the plates can be small, rectangular, on a plastic substrate, or without a substrate at all, just metal. Such plates bend quickly. If they're not stored in a pencil case, they quickly ruin. So as a rule, I give my preference to the plates on the substrate. But there are also such options, more durable without a substrate. Why not? And of a larger size with much more patterns. And though they are more expensive, it actually pays off. There are also such small round discs, but they have much less patterns on them. So I don't use them that much. Although sometimes there are decent patterns. I know that many nail techs use such options. The most important criterion when choosing the plates is the engraving depth. If the engraving is small, the paint will instantly dry in it, and no matter how much you grab the pattern on the stamp, nothing will come of it. There are deep engravings and average in depth, and respectively, the one that is deep will print the paint better. What brands I can recommend? These are several budget brands. They can even be found on AliExpress. These are Nicole Diary and Born Pretty. And there are a few more brands that I really liked. These are Swanky Stamping with deep engraving and beautiful patterns. Lastly, I think every nail tech should have such a plate with flowers on it. This is very trendy. Just what the clients want. A few Clio plates. This plate with animal prints is very trendy too. I hope you know that the animal print has been on point for more than one season already. How without geometric patterns? We will not have to draw them with a brush for a long time, but simply print with stamping. Some from Jubilee, Iman, and the place that I really liked. This is Takida. There you will find small elements and lettering. On some plates, there is even an image for the entire nail plate, on a plastic substrate in a beautiful case, so I couldn't help but fall in love with them, of course. As for the plates and which designs to choose, it depends on your clients, because they're all different. Some like floristry, abstraction, or geometry, or maybe impressionism or some kind of schools, I don't know. So you should choose yourself. The most important thing is when you buy a plate, make sure there are at least 4 patterns that you like. If you buy a plate just for the sake of one image, well, it seems illogical to me. It's better to buy a plate from which you can offer several patterns. But definitely, what in my opinion every nail tech should have is some flower elements. We will perform several designs using such plates. These are the images on the entire nail plate. They are also called mats. Here we have some random lines, some kind of abstraction, which looks very stylish and trendy. As I already told you, some animalistic prints, for example, butterflies, for those who love delicate, fluttering, and graceful things. This kind of plate is popular with the lovers of bold manicure, and various lettering and small lines in the form of a tattoo. It looks very beautiful in black. It's great if you have plates for any client's requests in store. But of course, more important than having the plates is trying them out and showing a demonstration on tips, how it will look, how it will fit. Because if you see a beautiful image on the plate, it's not the fact that it will look beautiful on the design that you made up. When the client sees already finished result on the tips, she just pokes her finger and you will be 100% sure that this paint with this plate will work with this stamp and you will get a great result. And one more thing that we need is a scraper. We use it in order to remove the gel paint excess. Some brands sell a set of scrapers that are different in stiffness. For example, soft, that are very soft, normal, medium in stiffness, and strong, they are very stiff. Why? Why do I need all these cards, you may ask? But here, there is a certain logic. When we work with the finest lines, we need the paint to get right into the carving. And in this case, we will use a soft scraper. If we work with the gel paint, we need a very stiff one. Here it is, such a hard plate. Someone even uses plastic credit cards instead of a scraper. Yes, they can be used, but I give my preference to these special branded scrapers, different in stiffness. We have reviewed the materials that are necessary for the stamping design. If you have any questions, write in the comments and I will try to answer them. Now we proceed with the practical part and start of course with a very simple step, transferring the pattern. Such designs look most flattering on camouflage bases. I have some shimmer ones here. This design will take us very little time because we will simply apply the colored camouflage base with a line in the nail plate, then the stamping design and cover it with a top coat. And it's fancier than a monochromatic one. I'm preparing a plate. I have Swanky Stampin' 46. Before use, I wipe it with a dehydrator so that it is clean, with no acetone leftovers. Because acetone tends to leave a white film, so make sure you remove it. After curing the base or the color, remove the tacky layer with a dehydrator. We will use a bright neon shade. I will apply gel polish and after that, at an angle of 45 degrees, I will do a quick rapid move in order to remove the paint from the plate. Sometimes I will make two moves. The first will distribute the paint and the second one will remove it. Don't place the plate at an angle of 90 degrees since this will scratch the plate. You cannot do this many times since while you're swinging the scraper over the plate, the paint will dry out. So the move should be very quick. And while you're just learning, practice this very move. Quickly remove the paint from the plate. You can do it towards yourself if it is more comfortable for you. Sometimes we'll look at the patterns, at the lines on them. If they are vertical, then there should be a downward move. If the lines are mostly horizontal, then the movement should be from left to right. Next to me, I put some tissues in order to remove the material leftovers from the scraper, so it's always clean. I organize my workspace so that I have everything at hand. The sticky tape is on the left, it's more comfortable for me. Some clean stamps. Open paint that stands next to the plate. The plate lies evenly. The scrapers lie on the half of the mat, so that I could quickly grab them, not on the mat, because it will be difficult to pick them up. Only part of them is on the mat. The first mistake is when the tacks take a little material, saving it, and then they begin to spread it thinly over the pattern. While the tack was spreading everything, the paint has already dried and nothing gets off. After each time, remove the paint leftovers very carefully. Now the plate is still wet, so I wait for some time for the acetone moisture to evaporate, or I can wipe it with a dry tissue. If the plate is wet and you apply the paint, look at how poorly it's spread. It's not applied evenly. That's a mistake. The next mistake is when you use a dehydrator instead of acetone. It doesn't completely remove the remaining color. The color gets clogged into the engraving and remains there. And then, when you are reapplying the color, the previous shade, which is clogged into the engraving, won't let it print well. So the plate must be clean. While practicing, you will endlessly erase the patterns, paint, and breathe in acetone, so be sure to wear a protective mask. While I was preparing these designs, I breathed in so much of it that my head was already spinning from these designs, from this acetone, so choose a liquid that won't smell that much. But I haven't found one yet. If you know, please let me know in the comments. So we apply a generous amount of paint on the pattern at an angle of 45 degrees, remove excess paint, remove the leftovers on a napkin, and transfer. Many tacks make the following move. They cover the pattern and press hard, thereby imprinting it onto the plate. And the pattern turns out uneven. The paint is poorly removed. The stamp is very soft, and you need to treat it this way too. During cleaning, we gently roll it. We will also roll it over the plate, from right to left, from left to right, from top to bottom, or from yourself. It doesn't matter. Do as you like. I always take the pattern from the stamp so that the image is in the central part of the stamp. You see, I press the stamp and you can see that the image is in the central part. Apply the paint. Then I remove the excess with a scraper. Be careful here. The metal substrate tends to rise at the edges. And now, I can see that the paint in this area has not been removed very well. So I do the following thing. I remove the paint moving towards myself. And the effect is completely different. The paint was removed well. Now print. And the next important point that you must do is turn the stamp and look at the image. If you are satisfied with it, if you removed everything the way you wanted, remove the excess with a sticky roller. And now we are ready to transfer it onto the tip. But while I was chatting with you, our paint dried on the stamp. And unfortunately, nothing will transfer now. So you should not waste time and work quickly with paint and polishes. So just be quick. And to work quickly, you just need to practice. Spend a day or two and you will handle it. Mind that I don't use acetone for cleaning the stamp, because it will ruin it. The stamp will get muddy and you won't see the image. So I'm cleaning it on a sticky roller. Cotton pads remove the paint quickly and they can be used again. What can't be said about a tissue, since it gets clogged with paint and dries quickly, so you'd better use cotton pads. We continue working. I apply some paint and quickly remove it. I roll it, turn it, check the image, and when I see that the paint is matte, it means that I can transfer it now. I place the central part on the tip and press. The stamp bounces and I carefully remove it, and my image has printed. It takes the biggest part of the tip, but I still want to add some more details. I will be using a white silicone stamp that will help me to decrease the image. At this step, I don't clean the plate, since I will be using a different image. I will clean it up later. So I apply it on the new image and remove the excess. I fold the stamp like this, roll it, release, and the cherries got smaller. Remove the excess and print it onto the client's nail. We got tiny cherries. Let's do one more image. Quickly remove the excess, roll it, pull in the slips so they got bigger, and press. That was an example of how you can increase or decrease the image. Now I remove it and redo it, so that the images don't get on each other, and it looks nice. That's exactly why you should practice it first, and only then repeat on your clients, instead of practicing on them. Wait for a plate to dry. In this design, it's important to use both bigger and smaller elements, so it looks balanced. You can cover it up either with a glossy or a matte top. At the end, I will tell you how to seal the design. I apply a matte top and send it to the lamp to cure. You can use more than one color for doing these designs. Let's make it fancier and do the design using various colored gel polishes with a simple underlay. Apply a camouflage base or a gel polish and send it to the lamp to cure. The preparatory steps are the same. Remove a tacky layer, then take colored gel polishes, check if they look good together, and paint random lines. Or drops, it doesn't matter. Send it to the lamp to cure. While it's curing, let's choose the plate and the colors. We open the colors so as not to waste time later. I choose the most popular plates. These are Swanky Stamping and Flora from IQ with floral elements. They are the most popular with clients. Once the polish has cured, wipe off a tacky layer, apply the paint, remove it, roll, remove the excess, and transfer. These designs go especially well with the matte top. And it's really pretty when you use a black color. That's our design. Let's do one more in green shades. The next stamping type is called shadowed. It looks as if there is a shadow between the image. For this design, we will need a milky shade. You can use either a milky base or a milky gel polish, or just a camouflage base. That will also look nice. Cure in the lamp. On my Instagram account, I made a poll on which of the designs you liked more, and designs 3 and 5 got most of your likes. Let's do number 5. As an underlay, I will be using a gray shade and outline it with black. On the third one, there is a gray underlay and a white outline. So we will be using black and gray, painting a gray shadow after the cure. Wait for some time for the paint to cure. It normally takes 30 to 60 seconds. It all depends on the product. If it is a regular polish, then longer. Cover it again with a thin layer of a milky or camouflage color, the one that you used before. Send it to the lamp to cure. I close the polishes so they don't get dry. After curing, I remove a tacky layer and print with black color now. Remove the excess, and most importantly, place the stamp a bit aside. The next design is layered stamping. It actually reminds this one, but it looks more like a 3D image. For this, I will be using an IQ plate. Cover the tip with white, remove a tacky layer. Now I print a blue shade. Then I go with a red one, turn it, and check. Once the paint is matte, it's ready to be transferred. Move it a bit and print. Such a 3D effect. I cover it with a matte top. I think these 3D designs look especially stylish with matte. The next will be a design on the entire nail plate. A matte design using some animal print. For the decor, I will need some thin leaf gold foil. I place it on a tacky layer. You can use any other foil, sliders or tear-ups, or it may be any other glitter, anything you wish. Now smooth it out. Cover up with a thin layer of a base coat, so it's not too voluminous, and cure. I choose an animalistic plate from Clio with deep engraving. Clean up the area where I will place the image. Prepare the nail, remove a tacky layer of the base. I will be using black paint. Applying it on a half of the image, remove the excess, and now press it. If I do it on a client, then I pull the cuticle. Print at the sides, so they're all covered, and release. Look, I think it's a gorgeous design. It looks very stylish. Wait for the paint to dry and cover it with a matte top. I apply it very carefully, barely touching, and send to cure. That's what we got. The next design reminds a matte one, but here we will add a gradient. I choose the design I need. I will be using white and pink neon shades. I covered the tip with white color. Pink will be near the cuticle and white at the free edge. We can add a bit more white than pink. I start mixing so that there is a smooth transition in the middle. Remove, get off the axis, transfer and roll on the sides. Cover with the top. The next design is called reverse stamping. It's one of the hardest ones since you need to be very attentive here. I'm using a tacky dot plate with fruit. I covered the nail with white and cured. Now wipe off a tacky layer. There will be a black outline and the fruit inside will be colorful. Choose the image and print. Leave it like that for now. I want to use this lemon slice image. I print it onto another stamp. Now our task is to fill the fruit with colors using a thin brush. So I need to choose the right colors for this. This one for a lemon and this one for the leaves. Plus green. The lemon will be neon green plus yellow. And we will also need some white. I will put them all on the palette. Now let's open them first, so to save up the time. Since if applied on the palette, the paint will get dry. So we get everything ready first. Now put the colors on the palette. I'm using a Rublev Kolinsky brush. Mixing all up to the shade I want. That's just right for the lemon. You can mix up the paints together. And now, fill it in a thin layer. By the way, one part will be filled with dense yellow and another one with a translucent neon. So there is a shadow. And I do the same on the other stamp. Mixing it with more white and working on the inner parts. I dry the brush on a tissue soaked in acetone. So don't use an expensive one, since you will ruin it pretty fast. I paint the insides with white. The paint starts to dry already, so I need to work faster. The lemon will be very bright here. And now the leaves, just a bit lighter. I shadow them with dark green. This way the image will be more defined. This design takes more time, so it should cost more as well. Leaving our fruit to dry. And to transfer this design on the tip or a client's nail, since it has all dried, we will use some acid-free primer. It creates a sticky film on the surface, and our stamping will get easily stuck to it. We don't need too much primer, just a thin layer. Give it some time to dry, and now roll it this way. It's great that the stamps are translucent, so we can see the color we got. Now stick, press, and then gradually release the image. If it has not printed, I apply it once again and press. So gorgeous! And our slice. Apply it, press hard, roll, and gradually, very slowly, release. Just look at this! What an amazing beauty! Let's see if there is some lettering to add. Here we have a lemon. Let's make it green to finish up the look. And then we will outline it with black. Now cover it with a matte top. Of course, if this painting was hand-drawn, the effect would be different. Now wipe off a tacky layer, and here it is. Such a bright and juicy design. You can perform tons of designs using stamping by adding some nail powders and colorful pigments, some glitter, or any other decor. Here we have some waves and mountains. It's a layered stamping. Just go where your imagination takes you. And now I will show you how to seal the stamping design. How to seal the stamping on a client. It often happens that when you apply a top coat, the image starts dissolving. There are such dips and pulls on the coverage. The thing is that the polish does not go with the top coat, so you need to use another top, or you can just use a thin layer of a base coat first and cure it, and only then cover it with a non-tacky top, or use a tacky top instead of a base. If you want to use a matte top, then cover it with a tacky top first, wipe off a tacky layer, and then apply a matte one. This way, the bonding will be better. And if it does not solve the problems of this dissolving material and pools, then use some acid-free primer. Cover the stamping in a thin layer and then add a top coat. I often apply a top coat doing a slight alignment, not in two, but in one layer. So here you need a top that will hold on for sure. I personally really like a non-tacky one from Mystique with a UV filter. It holds on perfectly. And a matte top from OnaQ Phantom. I even tried covering up with it in one layer with a slight alignment, without any extra coverage with a tacky top. Write in the comments which top you are using. It will be very useful for those who have been looking for that perfect one that would do for stamping. So stamping is a really beautiful, modern and trendy design, and it's done very simply and quickly if you know all the nuances. I hope that my video inspired you, so try it out and practice. I got so much pleasure from performing these designs, so give a thumbs up if you like this video, and I wish you all success in your work. Bye bye!